How are you?
I am just fine. You've had quite a week, haven't you?
If we get through inspection, we will have helped a client who really needed us. So that's a good thing.
Well, she was facing the same situation that a lot of our buyer clients are facing, no inventory.
Right.
And really, that's it, more
So-
than anything else.
So kind of what I'd like to talk about there and really struggling, what can you do?
Well, it's a good conversation to have. And I've read a number of articles say you should do this, you should do that. And the best I think we can do is to position them as well as we can and know that they may not get it. In fact, the odds are they probably won't get it.
And set the expectation up front. I like to use my magic question when writing the offer. You know my magic question.
Yeah,
Favorite
it's-
question.
Favorite question is,
What's the number you want to offer on this property? Keeping in mind that there are 7 other offers or 10 other offers or however many there are. What's the number you wish to offer such that if anybody paid $1 more, you would say, let them have it?
exactly.
Because it's unlike traditional negotiations, you may never get a chance to actually negotiate.
Mhm.
It's been one and done.
Exactly. And we can't predict what the seller, the listing agent's going to do. And I know my go-to was make it your best and final offer as your first offer, because you may not get another bite at the apple.
Exactly. There are also a few things that we've been doing that have given us some success. I try as much as I possibly can to do legwork all week long and not wait for the weekend. Because part of the problem is that buyers in the middle of a very crowded open house barely can think about what works and what doesn't. Sometimes you need to sort of live with the house for a little while till you know. And so I try to do as much work as I possibly can when a new listing breaks on a Wednesday or a Thursday.
And what does that entail?
It entails really watching the market updates, being on top of them, being first to call a listing agent and schedule an appointment, and then being aggressive when you go after that property. In other words, if it went to the weekend, the way that the world is now, you could anticipate multiple offers and the property going above asking.
Mhm.
Let's see if we can do that anticipation before they get there.
Mhm.
And that's what we did this week. It doesn't always work, but it did work this time.
It did. And you've been sweating bullets since then.
Yeah.
Now, when we make an offer for a typical, I don't want to say average, but a typical buyer, we usually include some contingencies, primarily inspection
Right,
and mortgage contingency.
correct.
And most buyers still need mortgages. And we're hearing a lot about cash offers, cash offers, cash offers. How do we make the offers that we give sweeter?
It's a really touchy situation, a really important conversation for us. As a buyer's agent responsible to protect my client, I am really not comfortable asking them to waive needed inspections. Because your money is at stake, your deposit money is at stake. If you waive a mortgage contingency and something untoward happens and you can't get your mortgage, you could be out 5% or more of the purchase price. That's painful. That's
Absolutely.
too painful. So I work with them to get as strong a pre-approval as I can. If it becomes obvious that it's going to be necessary to waive that inspection, I won't make that decision with them even. I send them to their lender for a real come to Jesus conversation about what the risks are.
Yeah.
And whether or not those risks are within their tolerances.
And that's really a lot of what we do. We don't make the decisions.
No,
He makes, and the same with the inspection. Now, we had the one house where a good friend was a home inspector and she didn't do an inspection, but she kind of gave the house a little bit more than a light once over, which made the buyers feel comfortable. That's the exception, not the rule. And
Sometimes you can request to inspect the property before you write the offer. Not as often as it used to be. The most successful action that we've taken has been to let the seller know that we're not out to renegotiate the price because of the inspection, and we therefore will agree in advance not to negotiate with them over the first X dollars of what an inspector finds. The way the offers are written right now, you could walk away from a sale without penalty if there was a torn screen.
Yeah.
So what we're really saying is we're only going to talk about big things we couldn't possibly have known without the inspection.
So it sounds like there are a number of things that we can do. The only thing that we haven't discussed that we routinely do is before we even submit an offer, we call the listing agent and get as much information as we can. Because I'd like to tell our new agents that the sales price is not always the overriding factor, and that the sellers have different motivations for selling their homes. And again, it's not always the money. Sometimes it's the amount of time they have till they move. Just things like that. And
timing, terms and conditions. The other thing I always ask, I know you do too, is what else do you want me to know? And a very, very well-trained agent won't tell you much, but sometimes
frequently
we get a response, well, they're getting a divorce and we need an offer quickly, and timing is more important than money. Things that never should be said, but not all agents are as well trained as you and I are, or as our agents are, right?
Excuse me. Spring must be coming.
There you go.
Okay, but that's it. So there are ways of approaching it, and if we're doing our job really well and with a good modicum of luck, we'll get that deal done.
Talk soon. Gotta
Thank
go to
you.
work.
Bye-bye now.